Okay, class, today we're going to talk about sales tax, tip, and discount. Three of the most important percent topics that you will talk about. So today, hopefully, by the end of class, you will be able to find sales tax, determine what a tip needs to be, and the amount of discount using a percent of a number. So I will find the amount of sales tax on an item, find the amount of tip on a bill, and find the amount of discount that you would receive. Okay? So let's review first, though. Let's review by finding percents. What are two ways that we can solve this particular question? It says, what is 45% of 98? Well, one way is you can take this problem and just do a direct translation. What is our blank? Is an equals. 45%. Well, we can't type 45% in on the calculator, but we can type the decimal in. So we know 45% is 0.45. Of means to multiply, and 98. So we just take our calculator out. Let me get my calculator here real quick. Let me get it on the screen. Pull the calculator in, and we just multiply the problem. So we got 0.45 times 98. And we end up with 44.1. 44.1. So 45% of 98 is 44.1. Another way of doing this is to set up your proportion. We know our percent proportion is percent over 100 is equal to part over total, or part over whole. Okay, or is over of, whichever way you remember it. So in this particular case, we look for the 45%, so we know it's going to be 45 over 100, which is equal to part, and it says, what is part of 98? Because we substitute the word part in for percent. And if I'm looking for the part, that tells me the 98 is my total. So it goes on bottom, and I'm looking for the top number. So now we just cross multiply and divide by the number that's with our letter. So 100 times x is 100x. Is equal to, and now 45 times 98, so we get our calculator back out. 45 times 98 equals 4410. Divide both sides by 100. And you find out that x is equal to, well, the same answer that we got on the previous one, 44.1. So 45% of 98 is 44.1. We're going to use this skill today of finding percent of a number in order to determine sales tax, tip, and discount. So let's look at our first problem. First problem says, the Woods went out to eat at Olive Garden. If their bill was $68.65 and they gave their server a 15% tip, how much did they pay altogether? Well, the first thing that we need to remember or try to figure out is, what is a tip? What are we talking about by tip? Well, a tip is a percentage of the bill that's left for the wait staff or left for the waiters. Okay, so it's just money that you give to the waiters in order for them to serve you. And basically what this question is asking is, since we do a 15% tip, which is a percentage of the bill, I'm asking the question, what is 15% of $68.65? Well, if you remember, all that is this question right here. It's the same exact thing. So let's see if we can solve this one. We're going to do $68.65, but I want to find 15% of that. So we can do one of two ways. First way I'm going to choose is to do multiplication. So I'm looking for 15%. Well, I need that in a form that I can use on the calculator. So that's 0.15 times 68.65. Because I want to know what is 15% of 68.65. So we get our calculator out again. We multiply that together. 0.15 times 68.65. End up with kind of an ugly number, but because we're dealing with money, we have to round this according to the nearest cent. So this one's going to end up being $10.30. Okay, so the amount of tip we're going to pay or give is $10.30. Now, does that answer my question? No, it doesn't. This is just how much of a tip that we're going to leave. The question says, how much did they pay altogether? Well, they had a bill of $68.65, and they gave a tip of $10.30. So we add those two together to get our total, which should be $78.95 if we add that together correctly. So to figure a tip, we just find the percentage of the bill and add it to the total to determine our total amount that we're going to leave. Okay, so that is tip. Let's try another one. Ms. Williams spent $180.60 at Walmart. If the sales tax is 7%, what is her final bill? Well, sales tax. That's what we're looking for in this particular case. So what is sales tax? Well, sales tax is a percentage of the amount you spent that is added to that amount to determine your overall total. So sales tax is something that's added to your bill. In this case, we're going to add 7%. In Walker County, our sales tax rate is 8.25%. Okay? So sales tax is an amount added to your total. So really, sales tax and tip are figured exactly the same way. So we take our 7%, we change it into a decimal, which we know, find the decimal in 7%, move it over two places. So 7% is actually 0.07 times 180.60. So again, we get our calculator out. We multiply that together. 0.07 times 180.6, because you don't have to put the extra zero on there. Enter. So again, we're dealing with money, so the amount of sales tax is going to be $12.64. So $12.64. But does that answer my question? No, it doesn't, because my question is, what is her final bill? So we take the amount that it added up to be, her subtotal, and you're going to add the sales tax to that. So when we add this together, you end up with 4, 12, carry the 1, 3, 9, 1. So their total bill was $193.24. So for tip and sales tax, you find the percentage and you add that to your overall total. And the last one that we're going to deal with today, Sears is having a one-day 35% off special. So this is what we call a discount, where you're going to take something off of the price. So if Jesse bought $165.50 worth of items, what would be the final bill total after applying the discount of 35%? So what is a discount? A discount is a percentage of the amount you spent that is subtracted from the amount you spent to determine your total amount. So in sales tax and tip, you add the percentage to your bill or your amount that you have. Discount, you subtract it off, but you still figure it exactly the same way. You start off with 35%, which is 0.35. We're going to multiply that by the amount of our bill, $165.50. Now we get our calculator out. 0.35 times 165.5. So the amount that we're going to save when we translate this into money, dollars and cents, we're going to save $57.93. $57.93. So $57.93. But instead of adding these two now, because it's a discount, we're going to subtract these two. So again, we bring up our calculator. We do 165.50 minus 57.93, and you end up with a final amount of $107.57. So all three of these, whether it is tip, whether it is sales tax, or whether it is discount, you still figure every single one the same way. But with tip and sales tax, you add the amount to your total to get your final amount. And for discount, you subtract it away. And that's how you find tip, sales tax, and discount.